that nobody's life is without grief or pain or sorrow. That is a part of the human experience. Everybody has pain in their lives, but do we have to suffer? That is the question. How sad is it that this feels so foreign right now? I'm still breaking out a little bit. I think I discovered that I have rosacea these days now. But welcome back to the AM with Amy and Comey. Messing up my slipper. By the way, this is Lancome's something in French ultra wear makeup stick, and it has SPF 21 all day color wear. It's a foundation stick, I'm assuming. But welcome back to the AM with Amy. I can't believe it's been so long. Honestly, I kind of dropped the ball with the AM with Amy because I feel like a lot of these videos are for myself, and I sometimes watch these videos too, so I feel like for the past couple of months I haven't been reading. I was reading for the past couple of months, just not a lot of content that kind of helps develop my soul and helps nurture me. I was just reading a lot of like fiction and non-fiction, I don't know, but I'm happy to say I'm back in that realm again and it feels good. And this happens, like I fall off the train every 1 or 2 months and I get back on it. But if you want to know what I've been up to, I feel like last month was an amazing month for Asian representation, which I wrote a little thing about it on my Instagram. If you want to go read it, I'll have it popped up here or linked down below. But yeah, August was a pretty fun month as far as Asian representation, and I've just been really enjoying the summer. I've been working a lot. I flew out to New York last week for a one-day shoot with Refinery 29, and yeah, just been working a lot. And if you've been following my channel for a long time now, you know that I don't know how to do my eyebrows, and I pretty much only use brow gel because it is the easiest thing for my novice hands. So Milk Makeup just came out with this one, and honestly I don't hate it, but I think I like the Maybelline Brow Precise one better because that one has fibers in it, so it actually gives you a hair-like finish. That one is my holy grail. If you don't know how to do your brows, get the Maybelline Brow Precise. Amazing. Not sponsored. But this is the, oh wait, this has fiber in it. This is the Milk Makeup Kush Fiber Gel. Alright, so let's get into the AM with Amy. I feel like this was a very long intro. Alright, at Hillian Harpy asks, hi Amy, how's it going? Hope all is well. Thank you. All is getting well. So I'm usually a pretty positive person, and I do pretty well about keeping myself in check when it comes to my overall well-being, but I still seem to hold on to the past more than I would like to, and it is really starting to bother me. What do you do to move on from past experiences that may have greatly impacted your life? Much appreciated. Love you always. I love you too. Thank you for writing in. This is something that I very much struggle with even now, even after reading all of the material I've read, but I think that's why I really wanted to do this. And first thing that I want to say is you need to get this book. This is called The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. I'm only halfway through it, but I reread the first half of it so many times because I just think it is so fundamental in trying to not relive your trauma or your past. It is also the fundamental core of meditation, just to read The Power of Now. Pick up this book before I say anything else because a lot of what I'm going to say is a regurgitation of this book. So get this book, but I'm going to read a little excerpt from it. I want to read a lot from it, honestly. Honestly, I just want to read this whole thing to you, but Audible Amy Lee will come soon later. Just kidding. Imagine the earth devoid of human life, inhabited only by plants and animals. Would it still have a past and a future? Could we still speak of time in any meaningful way? The question, what time is it, or what's the date today, if anybody were there to ask it, would be quite meaningless. The oak tree or the eagle would be bemused by such a question. What time, they would ask? Well, of course, it's now. The time is now. What else is there? I have that excerpt in my book, highlighted, underlined, bookmarked. Just no words. The concept of future and past and time in and of itself is something that we've made up. Does this make sense? The past is nothing but a concept. The past no longer is, the past no longer exists. It is a concept. Okay, with that, I'm gonna get started with my eyeshadow before I drag on a little too long. By the way, this is Fenty Beauty's Moroccan Spice Eye Palette. Yes, your girl got onto the PR list. That is so crazy. But I think I'm gonna just play around with these colors. It's kind of gonna match my top today, so I don't know how I feel about that, but we're gonna just go for it. So just think about that for a moment. Think about how the past no longer exists, how the past is a concept. It is nothing but a concept. There really is no past and there really is no future. The only moment that exists is the now. I actually wrote down 4 steps on how you can move from the past with that concept being said. So number 1, acknowledge. I really wanted to make this step accept, but I think a lot of people are going to confuse the word accept with the idea that you are accepting what happened to you was okay, when accepting is really what I mean by that is acknowledging. And acknowledging that your past has happened and acknowledging that you have trauma. And nobody's life, let me just say that, nobody's life is without grief or pain or sorrow. That is a part of the human experience. Everybody has pain in their lives, but do we have to suffer? Nobody's life is without, but do you have to suffer? That is the question. I think so oftentimes we confuse quote-unquote strong people with those who don't even acknowledge their past or their trauma or their grief, when in reality all of that will come out either way. It will seep out into your love life, the way you treat your coworkers, etc. I think we all have had that friend, or I have been that friend or have been that person who hasn't acknowledged what has happened to me and just kept going and realized years and years later on that it really affected me, and if anything, it got exacerbated. You know, I always get a lot of shit for doing the same makeup look, but I really did this purple pink fuchsia one and it came out orange. So I don't know if it's all my brushes are just really heavily oranged out because I never washed them. That honestly probably makes a lot of sense, but I used this pink fuchsia color and it still comes out orange for whatever reason. Oh my god. Oh wow. I think that just made it into a very princessy look. Number 2 is to reflect, and this is probably the most universal way we think about dealing with the past, and I think it's such an integral part of dealing with what has happened to you. And reflecting can mean from anywhere to understanding why something has happened and why it needed to happen. And I feel like reflecting is a big part of self-growth, and you need to really see what you took away from that experience. So number 2 is honestly just talking about it out loud, journaling it, and finding what lessons and what takeaways you can get from that experience and what you have really learned from what has happened to you. Number 3 is do not revisit the past. I know this is going to be really difficult for a lot of you, but the best way to deal with the past is to not revisit it. I want to tell you that when you are watching this video, or when you are sitting down and eating your food, or when you are showering, in that very moment, do you feel pain? In just that moment, and not thinking about anything other than the present moment, do you feel pain? No, right? The only time that you feel a wash of pain is when you start to think about the pain and the trauma or whatever experience has happened to you. Because I can be sitting down with a bowl of cereal, doing nothing but eating my cereal, and then all of a sudden my brain will go to a dark place and I will feel a twinge of sadness and pain all over again. And that is because your mind is taking you somewhere. So a lot of this is about being mindful, and this is the fulcrum of meditation. If you do not allow yourself to go revisit that past or those thoughts or those events, it does not exist. For me, this step is probably the hardest because I have a problem with wanting to know what everyone is up to, even those who are not in my life anymore. Specifically with boys I've dated, and I have a lot of pain from that. And something I notice I do is I like to go back and see what they're up to, and I like to almost bring power and energy and relive that type of experience. And what you're doing with that in time traveling, or even just going back and looking at someone who is no longer in your life and brings you sadness, is you are feeding it. You are allowing it to be a monster. You are giving it life. You're giving it headspace. You're allowing it to stay rent-free in your head. And so if you do not want to feel that pain or that sadness or that trauma, do not revisit it. Do not constantly go knocking at its door. Do not keep time traveling in your head back, because your mind is not you. You control your thoughts and your brain. It does not control you. Let me say that again. Your mind doesn't control you. You control your mind. This mascara is not very good. So you are not your mind, and I want to read another excerpt. I want to read another thing from this book. There is get this book. You need to get this book. The more you are identified with your mind, the more you suffer. The more you are able to honor and accept the now, the more you are free of pain, of suffering, and free of the egoic mind. I feel like I put on way too much blush. I didn't bring my highlighter. It's so annoying. Here, I didn't bring my highlighter, so we're just gonna highlight with the Fenty Beauty. Holy, that's crazy. Whoa, who needs trophy wipe? Okay, number 4, the last and final step is to redirect. So I think a lot of times people, when talking about how to deal with the past, is don't think about it, don't think about it. Why are you thinking about it? Well, it is really hard not to think about it. I'll be the first one to tell you that. So if you could just not think about it, honestly, do that instead. But I find that a lot of people can't stop thinking about it. So number 4 is to redirect your thoughts. So for example, if you constantly find yourself thinking about a heartbreak or a breakup that really hurt you, try to focus and redirect all your energy into this new, amazing, healthy, stable relationship you want to be in. Think of all the ways that you can find yourself in a healthy relationship and how you can improve yourself to manifest a better relationship than the one that has really broken your heart. And if you are someone that constantly thinks about your traumatic or painful childhood, try to redirect and focus all your energy in creating a stronger, healthier adulthood for yourself. And just redirect all of your thoughts into something more productive and something healthier for you. The future has not yet come, so you can make it whatever you want it to be, and I hope that you make it a more stable and healthy and more positive one in your head, because it is still just a concept. It has not come yet. So I would say redirect your thoughts and redirect all your negative behavior from the past and try to form new, healthy, positive habits. So those are my 4 steps on how you can deal with the past. Number 1, acknowledge. 2, reflect. 3, do not revisit. And 4, redirect. I hope you guys enjoyed this one, and remember to not think so much about the past or the future, and hopefully you learn how to stay present, because the present moment is all we have, and it is the only moment that will ever exist, is the moment that we're right here right now. Thank you so much for spending your present moment with me right now. I also wanted to mention that I feel like acknowledging and reflecting has a lot to do with forgiving, and I have a whole AM with Amy on forgiveness, and I'm going to leave it in the cards up above if you want to see that, because I think all of this is intertwined. But thank you so much for spending your present moment with me right here, right now, in the now. I hope this was helpful, and if you want to watch any more of the AM with Amy's, I have a whole playlist right here, and I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye.
Would I leave if you were everything I wanted you to be? When I saw